Hello, welcome to video 4, where we're making some kind of Minecraft version in Python, in the Python language, using the Ursina game engine. And no, we're in tutorial 4 now, so I've just copied my code from tutorial 3, and so we're at exactly the same point as in the last video, and I'm recording this in a cafe in the same day. Because I didn't get to these two items here, we need to change the colours of our terrain with a bit more variety and sophistication. So we want to use some random numbers in there, random values, and then of course get to our mining and building and things. So let's go down to the generate subset function, and that's where we were applying the colours. So red, green, and blue components to our subcube color. And then I didn't really talk about this, but I got the textures working correctly by turning off the texture or commenting out the texture of our subset here. And that meant, for some reason that I don't fully understand, we weren't overriding the texture or the colors of our subcubes. So they look the way that we want them to look, i.e. we can apply a colour now, and then when we finish the terrain, we can apply the grass stroke texture. In fact, I forgot to comment that out in the last video. I kind of moved it to here. I bet if I comment this one out, let's comment out the first one. I bet now this breaks it so the colours won't appear correctly. But then I guess we've learned something about the way that the texture functions are working. Right, so what we want to do, was here we wanted to add a little bit of randomness so that we're not getting like straight lines or bands of colour. So what we can do is, let's say if y, let's say, our map function, what we'll do is we'll add a random number to our y value. That won't upset the Perlin terrain noise. It won't change the height of the block itself, because the block itself, its value is being set up here, and we're just storing that value in this other variable called y, purely so that we can change the colors of the subcube. So we're going to say y plus equals a random number. So I want to use the rand range function, and I want to add between -4 and 4, let's say. So there's a bit of variation. Actually, I might change it. No, I get it. I'll stick to my first decisions. Stick to 4. And then I can use the rand range, I think, because, have I already imported? Yeah. From random, import rand range. I'd either done that before, for some other reason. I can't remember if we used any randomness, or my text editor here automatically imports things sometimes when I try to use like inbuilt functions. So you don't have to install random, that's part of the standard library for Python. Just like, I think NumPy and math and like multiprocessing, that's already part of the standard library as well. Perlin noise isn't. Time is. So you don't have to install time, but you do have to install Perlin noise, like we did in the first video. Right. Let's run this. So we've got a terrain of 20, so it should be a little faster to test. I've got coffee because I'm in the coffee shop. When you're at home, drink tea. When you're in the coffee shop, you have to drink coffee. So our terrain is, looking different now. And I don't know if you just saw that. When it combined, then it's applied the terrain colour finally. But there we go. Now we've got some variety, which looks really good. I think it looks more like Minecraft, for example. What would be better is, where we've just added a random range, is to use some more Perlin noise, so that every time we generate this terrain using a particular seed, it would look exactly the same. And because we've introduced some randomness, now it's not always going to look this way. We've still got a giant goose looking at us. Right, the next thing, let's hurry through. Actually, I did want to try something else, just very quickly, for the terrain colour. I haven't done yet myself, but what we could do is make them blue, I guess, if we're not looking at the height, but if they're like halfway across the terrain or something like that. So firstly, I want to make my terrain a little bit bigger. Let's double it like that. And then I want to kind of override all of this. Or do I? Let's let's try and make like a red zone. Yeah, okay. So we'll say, I'll make myself a note down here. So all of this kind of makes some sense. Red zone, are we in the red zone? So we're going to say if Z is greater than the sub width or terrain width divided by half or times half, then we'll say green equals 0, blue equals 0, but red now equals, and we'll use our map function again. So basically, we're going to say if y from between its height being at 0 up to half the amplitude, we can now go from, actually I'll stretch this right up to the amplitude, we'll go from 110 to 255, so we'll have a nice red zone. This is underlining for some reason. Expected indent block. I think that's fine. Have we got terrain width in here? No, we need to maybe set this as a global variable as well, just so that this function is using the global variable. Right. Oh, I see what's going on. Sorry, this was bad, wasn't it? So I forgot about this else here, and then you can't have immediately after that a comment. Also, this green setting belonged there. There we go. And I'll kind of keep all of this together because it's all to do with the colour of the subcubes and the visibility of them. Right. Oh yeah, and the other thing was I commented this one out. So let's keep that one there. Let's comment this one out and just see what happens in terms of when the texture is applied. Have some more coffee. Interesting, so that didn't make a difference in terms of there being no texture to begin with while we're generating our terrain. When it's finished, hopefully it will be it will actually be applied, that texture. Now we've gone over to the red zone. I was saying it's too brown. I thought I'd made a mistake, which I couldn't understand, but it's just a fog. I think is kind of a blue colour. Yes, and so we've got our texture applied, so that's okay. Let's jump to the top of the red mountain. Right, so now we've got like different areas of our terrain, different colours, which is like the beginning, the simplest step of getting different biomes, I guess. There we go. This is looking a lot more interesting in terms of variety. Okay, happy with that. And we've got, wow, we just had 70 frames per second. So this is working very nicely. Right, let's just save our code there. And I'm just going to pause the video, not that you'll notice, just so I think about the next thing, which is doing building and mining. Okay, welcome back. Right, so all I did there actually, just to save some of your time, was I've put inside of our assets, so inside of our folder, where we've got, in my case, the tutorial files, the Python files, the modules, and I'm currently in tutorial 4. I've also got an assets folder where, just to organize things a little bit, I've got a Minecraft chicken, nothing, I can't remember what I put in there. What did I put in there? Textures, oh, I remember what that was. Anyway, I've got the textures, the grass texture, the monochrome grass, which doesn't have a border, and then stroke mono, which is a monochrome general texture like this one, but with a white borderline. So you can see like each individual cube sometimes looks good. And then what I've just added, which will be useful for building, is this wireframe block. And all it is a PNG, so we've got transparencies. You won't have transparencies if you save it or export it as a JPEG file or a bitmap. All it is just that border. So it's just a white border. I've made it white so that when this is textured onto a cube, it will look like a wireframe cube. And because the center is see-through, transparent, it's just like a wireframe. So we can like look through that cube. And that might be like a nice tool to project in front of our player, and then we can instantiate or create a block in that position. So it's like a 3D cursor for building and things. So that's maybe what we'll use later on. Right, so that's all there in the assets. And again, you can download all of these from mine, or you can make them yourself. The link will be in the description. Okay, so first thing we want to do, is let's go and project that wireframe cube in front of our player. So in the update loop, in the update function here, what we want to do, and do it after everything else, we want to kind of like, we'll call it project a builder block. Let's call that build tool. There we go. So we want to just go and run this function, project build tool. Now this function doesn't exist yet, so let's go and make it up here. I'm just thinking, now that our code is getting quite long, really when we're like we've got a load of functions that are generating the terrain, we've got some functions that are moving the player, we've got some other functions that are doing other things. These should all be in their separate Python files as modules, and like we should have like a main game file with the update loop, and we should import those other files, those modules in, like I did with the map function in the last tutorial. But I won't do that yet. Maybe I'll tidy it up later on. But it just means also we won't have to scroll through everything. Our code is fairly organized at the moment. Anyway, let's make this project tool function just up here. So this is at the end of like the setup stuff at the beginning and before the input function. So I want to define project, or let's just call it build tool. That's a better name, isn't it? There we go, build tool. Build tool. I always feel bad when I've changed the names because I'm imagining you're kind of like coding along with me. Then I keep changing things, but I don't know. You can call them what you like. All right, and so what we want to do, we want to set, what should we call we'll call our build tool entity a BTE, build tool entity. And we want to set its position to just in front of our player. So it kind of wants to be the subject's position plus maybe 2 blocks ahead. So let's try, do we have a subject forward? Yeah, I think we do. So what that property is just which direction is our player facing, but we want to multiply that by 2 blocks. So if we didn't multiply it by 2, it would just be immediately in front of our player, our subject. Now, our BTE doesn't exist yet, so we need to create that. Let's just create it next to our definition for our build tool function. So our BTE wants to be an Ursina entity, its model wants to be a cube, and its texture wants to be, we'll call this wire text. So we're in the right place because this is just above there is where we're loading in our textures. So we'll create that texture now. ytext equals load underscore texture. And then what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, I think it was called wireframe.png. Obviously, if you've called your texture a different name, you'll have to name it differently there. And so the transparency will work automatically there. It's going to be a cube, a unit cube, so that just means 1 by 1 by 1 on the X, Y, and Z axes. And it won't have a collider on. We don't want it to be hitting the terrain or anything like that. Is that all we need to say for it? Yeah, I think so. So it exists, we can see it. Let's just see what's happening now. So it should be in front of us all the time already, because we're calling this function in the update function. What's wrong with it? Build tool is not defined. It is defined. It's fine. It's there. Look. Maybe I've done something wrong. Anyway, we'll run this and see what happens. Oh, build tool isn't defined. What have I done wrong? What's gone wrong here? It's either something I've written incorrectly within the function itself, or have I got some incorrect indentation? Oh, it must be capitalization. Yeah. That was my fault. That was karma because I changed the name, didn't I, at the last minute? Right, we can see it. It's already working. Now, is it working correctly? Well, it is moving in front of us. It's not getting higher or lower. Also, it's way too precise. It's like it's not fitting on each of the terrain cube spaces. So what we haven't done yet, but we can easily do, is wrap that position in a mathematical floor function like we've done for the whole terrain. And actually, we don't want to project it in front of the player, the subject. We want to project it in front of our camera. So we want to replace the subject's position with the camera position. And then perhaps we maybe want to move upwards. I don't know. That's up to you. You could play around with that. But let's go and make those changes. So at least it's beginning to work. Right, so we've got subject position here. So maybe we can keep the subject's position, but then we want to say subjects, or can we just go straight to the camera? Can we say camera forward times 2? Oh, and then we want to wrap this whole thing in a floor function. So we want to floor that entire thing. And now that we've got parentheses there, actually, I can just go onto another line, just so that you can see it a bit more easily. It doesn't go across here. So I can only do that, remember, because I've got in Python, because I've got the in parentheses. Right. And then, oh yeah, I was saying we could just lift the position up a little bit. So we could say, ETE, your Y value now, could you go minus equals 2 blocks? So it goes up by 2 blocks. And we don't have to floor this, I don't think, because it's already floored here, and we're only subtracting an integer value from it anyway, so it is floored in that sense. It is rounded to a whole number, an integer. Was there anything else that I wanted to do? I can't remember. Let's just see if that works. At least I'll get some more coffee. Okay. So this is not an improvement because I now can't see it. Where has it gone? So I've done something wrong. My guess, I don't know if we get any problems. Nmap could not be resolved, that's fine. Maybe, I'm guessing the camera wasn't working correctly. Just I'm scrolling upwards here. No, it's not flagged up any problems. I'll cheat just to save your time. Let me look at my prepared code. So I called it position, subject position. Well, I've done the same thing. I've created a new vector here, camera forward. Let's just copy this. And what have I done? Oh, I think the main problem is this. I've lowered it, -2. I'm thinking, what am I thinking? I'm thinking in 2D, where subtracting a number moves things up. In 3D, subtracting a number moves them down. So hopefully that was the problem. Because I know I wrote the projection of the camera position slightly differently with that vector 3 thing. But as far as I could understand, it was the same thing. Yeah. So now this is working. It's projecting in front of where we're looking. So if you want to build now a cube slightly higher, you can look up and it moves up. What is wrong, however, is that it's... Let me just pause the video, a bit of background noise. 1 second. Hello again. Sorry, I just start up the simulation. Oh yeah, what I was just saying was, yeah, our cube is kind of in front of us, but it's not exactly in front of us. It's kind of like to the left, sometimes to the right, which is very off-putting. So I think what that is that we are using floor here to get our whole number, so it is positioned on the grid exactly, but maybe we want to use a round function. So if it's like 0.5 or 0.6, 0.7, it will be more accurate to where we're facing. Now, I don't know why I'm able to use round straight away. I think I've got to import... Oh, is it because I've got... Well, I've imported from NumPy floor and absolute functions. Do I have to... Or has Python got inbuilt a round function? Will it flag up an error? Oh, okay. It's got one inbuilt. Oh, I love it when it works correctly. So it's projecting exactly in front of us on the X and the Y. Oh, but now actually, it's not... I don't think it's lining up precisely where we need it to. Is that because I now need to apply the round function to the Y as well? Let's just see, bte dot y equals bte dot y, but rounded. Sorry, bte, not bty. That feels better. But now it feels like it's not exactly on, because I can kind of shift it around. That shouldn't be happening, should it? So what's going on? What's going on here? Let me see my prepared code. So I'm rounding each component of the vector. So let's do that. Let's round. So I've round the Y component. Let's round the X component and round the Z component. And I've got to change these as well. I don't remember doing this. I must have had the same problem before in my prepare code. Now that feels like it snaps to the correct grid position exactly. Yes. Oh, that's really satisfying, isn't it? It's sitting exactly where it needs to be. Brilliant. So I probably discovered the same solution as I did in the prepare code. So if you want to be able to build maybe a bit further away, all you need to do is change this value here, because that's multiplying as forward according to that vector, that 3D vector. Or closer would be 1. So I'll keep it at 2. Actually, I'll go to 3 and see how that looks. So, final thing that we'll do is be able to build and delete things. So what we want to do in input, I want to say if key is, now what do I write? Do I write mouse button right? No, I want left mouse button. It's the other way around though in Minecraft, isn't it? To build, you do the right mouse button. I don't know. Okay, so if it's the left mouse button, then what we want to do is to say, yeah, we just want to go build, just go and build. So I need to write another function to do that. I'll write that underneath the build tool. So define build. And what we want to do there is we could kind of duplicate, I think this is the way I did it in my prepare code, we could duplicate the BTE, our, what's that, build tool entity, and then just change its texture, give it a collider so we can walk into it, and something else that I've forgotten, let's have a look. So we can say E equals MC squared, no, equals BTE duplicate. So that's an Ursina built-in function, and that should return an entity, and we're going to store that entity in E. That's just a temporary variable to hold our object. So then what we can do is E, we can say collider equals a cube collider. What else did I just say? Oh yeah, and it needs, at the moment it's going to look like the wireframe texture, so we don't want to do that. We want to say E texture equals, right, we want this other texture actually. We want, just going to my assets folder, we want this grass mono texture. Because it's monochrome, i.e. grey, we can again shine any colour we want through it to get different types of blocks. So red for some kind of redstone or ruby or something, and then green for grass, etc. And we just leave it grey for stone, let's say. That'll be the default one. So let's go and make that texture first. So we'll call it stone text. Stone text equals load texture. What was it called? Grass mono. I'm going to brag and say my memory's really good today. And that's probably wrong now. So stone text equals stone text. Thank you very much. Autocomplete. Is that it? Is that all I have to do? Oh yeah, this is probably wrong. Mouse button left. Let's just go and check my prepared code. Left mouse up. That's not bad. I wasn't too wrong. Left mouse up. There we go. So yeah, what's really important is going to wait until the key is released. And so this is maybe something you could play around with if you did want this. Maybe if the key is held down, the mouse button is held down, you could like spray a load of blocks everywhere. But I don't want to do that. I just want to place one when I've released the mouse button. So let's see if this works. Have we already got building? So I can jump. I'm going to go over to the. You know what? No, I'll go over to my god, Gooseman, Goosey Boos, and we'll lay down in his honour a brick. Let's see if this works. Oh yeah, and I'm projecting 3 ahead. You know what? 3 feels about right. Press the mouse button, and it crashes. So what happened? Entity object has no attribute duplicate. Oh. So let me guess, do I do it in this different way? Do I do it this way? Do I just say duplicate BTE, and then that returns BTE there? Oops, Control Z. Try that again, BTE. And let's just see in my prepared code. Oh, goodness, do I just do this in the update? So messy, my prepared code. Sorry, not in update, in the key. So, oh, that's, yeah, how I do it. So I duplicate it and in E. Lovely. Okay, oh, I've also got this. You know what? Let's just nick this. Let's just nick that, copy and paste that. And I'll put that in there as well. So, Ursina's got a few, as you've already seen, some nice inbuilt functions. And another one is shake. So it's like an animation that you can apply to any entity. And you give it a duration, i.e. how long it's going to shake, and then the speed of the shaking. So I've just set that to 0.5, so half a second, and then speed to, what's that? I don't know. A tenth of a second? I don't know. Oh, maths. Right. So that should now shake. And so now, hopefully, I've duplicated BTE, our build tool entity, in the correct way. Let's see. I embarrassed myself in front of the giant goose. Sorry. Hence his angry look on his face. So I'm sorry about that. Let me try this again. And left key. And it's made one. And I'm quite proud of my shake animation idea. I didn't code the shake animation code. That was Peter Amland, I think. Okay. So now it's actually, not only can we explore and make friends with giant geese, but we can build things. And it suddenly becomes like Lego. Suddenly becomes like Minecraft. Whoops. What did I do then? First person controller has no attribute height. Oh. So that's something that I've done wrong in the previous. It does have an attribute called height. Right, so we need to go and correct that code. So that's scary. That means my previous tutorial code has an error in it. So I'll probably change that code as well, because I don't want it to crash on people's machines. I'll not know what's happened. So that's in our safety net. So our safety net can now crash and crash you. I think that was the first time our safety net was working though. So it kind of detected that I fell through, glitched through the terrain. Now the problem is I don't know where. Oh, that's in the update loop, isn't it? And now because I'm kind of scrolling around, can't find things, I'm thinking maybe next video I need to organize this into different files. So we could do that together maybe the next video. Oh, so it doesn't have height. Subject. I can't think what that is. Right. Let's just hard code in 2. And just hope that's okay. Also, this maybe should be -1, I'm thinking now. No, we do want to go higher. No, we're talking about being under the terrain. So it does want to be minus. Save as, whoops, cancel. I just wanted to save. Right, let's play it again. Wow, lots of bugs recently. But I think bugs are helpful in terms of tutorials. Showing debugging is good. Well, I find it helpful anyway when I'm trying to learn. So left key, we can build. And I'll try and do lots of jumping and building. And hopefully try and glitch myself. So I'm just trying to wait for that. There we go. It's trying to combine. We didn't glitch too badly, so we're okay. So we've left these floating blocks and things. Oh, in Minecraft you can't do that. So we've made Super Minecraft. So you could, and maybe I'll do it if you really want me to, you could write a constraint to say, if there's no block beneath us, then you can't, or sorry, no block attached to this position, then you can't build. So that would take a little bit of coding to do that. So we do want to do, before we get to, can I do this? All right, let's do another race. I've got 4 minutes. Can we now press the other mouse button to delete blocks? So I'm going to, let's just look at my prepared code and see what I've done. I've said, if key is right mouse up, and then, oh, this is quite a nice function actually. If our mouse hovered entity, so that means this is an inbuilt function in Ursina. So if our mouse is actually over an entity, such as our terrain, or it might be a built block, and it's actually visible, then we can destroy it. And that shouldn't destroy our terrain because our terrain doesn't have a collider. So this mouse hovered function will ignore things, or it won't detect things that don't have a collider on. What might go wrong though is if, oh no, I was going to say if our build tool entity is getting in the way, but it doesn't have a collider either. But let's just, okay, let's try and write the code out without copying it. So we'll say, in input, we'll say elif, meaning else if. Else if, you don't have to put that, but I'm just doing it to expose you to some new things you might not know. And it's kind of better at practice to like logically determine things. And I'm running out of time. Let me stop explaining stuff. So I want to say, if our right mouse is up, then entity equals mouse. So the hovered entity function is a method on the mouse object in the Ursina engine. E equals mouse hovered entity. Just looking at my code again. Oh no, I don't need to call a function there. So all I've done is store whatever entity our mouse is over, as long as it's got a collider. And then let's just try deleting it. Let's just say destroy E. So that's how you delete an entity, destroy E. Let's just see what happens. We might not have to add any visibility to this. So I can make my objects, and let's try and delete them. Well, it's working already. What if I do it here? Well, it's not crashing at least. What if I go into the terrain? Good. It's at least not deleting the terrain. One bad thing, of course, is that at the moment with this system, we can't mine, we can't delete this terrain because it's just like one object. And what we'd need to do, well, I haven't worked this out, we'll have to like change the system somehow. But what we need to do is calculate this part of the Perlin terrain, and then at this position minus the height by 1, and then recombine this subset into the whole terrain. The difficult thing is we then have to take away this combined part of the terrain, which doesn't really work with our system at the moment. In other words, we'd have to maybe not combine all of the subsets into the terrain at the end. So we're going to have to figure something else out. So that's 5 minutes, where that's taken me to do the kind of pseudo mining. So we can at least build things, and we can at least remove them. So we can do kind of our own mining. And oh yeah, we can interact with these new things. Oh, can I jump up and... Yeah, I can jump and like build myself a tower, which is kind of cool. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Next time, what we'll do is we'll be able to build different types of block, and I don't know what else. Maybe put in the comments what feature you want to see next. Maybe it's biomes, maybe it's trees, maybe it's making an infinite terrain. Yeah, but just let me know. Thank you very much again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.